any Irish in the family?
Knows that I'm the biggest fucking plastic paddy you've ever met. I am so fucking desperate for the passport. So desperate.
Have you not? Can you not get one? Just get one like Tony Cascarino used to get one. Like
I know, yeah, but I'm not a good enough footballer. No, in fact, I remember having a conversation with Jason McIntyre because he was playing in that World Cup squad, and he said they drove out to some parish. And Jack Charles stopped the bus, said, Jason, come here, and then walked in. There was no fella. He said, Jason, that's your granddad. There's your passport. Get back.
And that was it. He was playing for Ireland.
Yeah, that was it. He was playing for Ireland. No,
great. So
that was just a gag, or I don't know.
I read his book, and I think he had said like this person he'd gotten to know was like a distant relation of like one of his grandparents. And it was the wrong person.
It was enough. So I've got 67% Irish DNA. Because I did a documentary with Hugh Bonneville, from Downton Abbey, and we traced our families.
So you're Irish from the waist down.
Yeah, no, well, his mother's Irish. The most Englishman his mother's Irish, and it took us loads of twisty stories within it, and obviously we started off finding out that his great granddad. Great granddad designed ships that were used by the British Admiralty in the Napoleonic War.
Wow.
And all that stuff.
That suits him, yeah.
Yeah, and then my great granddad went to jail for fiddling, and it was all that kind of stuff.
Fiddling money.
Yeah.
Fiddling money now, Sean.
And then,
Fiddling cash.
We'll chop that one up.
Exactly. My great granddad was a bit handy. And yeah, you know what it was? It was weighing. He was a salt dealer, and he got done for cheating on putting stones in the bottom of the weighing. Anyway, but we ended up here in Dublin. So Hugh Bonneville gone through his family, gone through my family, and they said, like, we're going to take you to Ireland now. You don't. And I always thought it was just for my family. And we get in, they take us to Cable Street.
Yeah.
And there's a bar in Cable Street. It's an old Brian's Music Shop, I think it's called. That's still got that name. One of you can Google that for us. Just so I've got
Sean, get going.
Cable Street is a good spot.
Go on. Yeah. And it's still called that because it was a music shop. And when it was a music shop, my great granddad, Andrew Keegan, he worked there making instruments.
Wow.
And then they said to Hugh, we're going to take you to where your great granddad worked. And we walked out 3 doors away. So our great granddads were on the same road at the same time. And attended the same meetings for Irish independence, spoke at the same events. So definitely knew each other, which is mental.
Man, if anyone's watching, you're definitely getting a passport now. You're going to be in the good queue.
Listen,
when you go to
want everybody to know. So then Ancestry.com, who did the programme, said, listen, there could be a way of getting a passport, because although it's all great-grandparents that you've got, all your great-grandparents are Irish, there's a way of getting it, apparently, that the Taoiseach there's something that he can give if you provide something to Irish culture. I said, I fucking provide loads to Irish culture. Loads. So she
Up and down Cable Street.
So she said, we'll set up a meeting. And they want us to go through this with a lawyer, an immigration lawyer that they've recommended, and it was all sort of done to begin with on emails, and he's finished all his emails with his name as GER. Right. So it's GER, which obviously would be J. That's what you would know. First phone call I had with him, I said, all right, girl. And that was it. There was fucking loads. And then he said to me, what do you want? I said, I want an Irish passport. He said, why? I said, because I love Ireland. He said, well, that's not a reason. I said, yeah, but every time I've been coming to Ireland, I love it even more. Me and my wife have thought of living in Ireland. He said, we can live here without a passport. I said, no, but I feel Irish. He said, that's not a reason. I said, but I've got 67% Irish DNA. He said, that doesn't matter. He said, what about your grandparents? I said, well, my grandparents were born in Liverpool, but my great-grandparents are Irish.
Yeah.
He said, well, no, it's got to be a grandparents. I said, yeah, but isn't there some way that I can get it because I love Ireland? And his actual words of this actual prominent immigration lawyer, his words to me on the phone, will you ever fucking cop onto yourself? That was his legal assessment of my case.
I was going to ask you why you filmed your recent special in the Tree Arena, but now I know.
Listen, I filmed it there because, like, I've been lucky enough to do arenas, and you know what it's like when you do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
It's if there's 25 people in the room or 2,500, there's still people in the room. I don't differentiate. I love it either way, but obviously you get a bigger house if it's a bigger venue. Yeah. And it just runs on and on and on. But the Tree Arena is the most perfect venue for stand-up that there is. And I mean that on all levels. And the reason that I say that is everyone's so close. The stage isn't too deep. It's not too high. The floor's not too long. So everyone's banked up. So they're all around you. So to me, it's as intimate as doing like a comedy club.
Yeah.
You know, Vickers Street is brilliant.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Great
the
venue,
Olympia I've only ever done when we did the panel there once. So I've never done stand up there. But as venues go in Dublin, well, in Ireland, in the world, I always put it as my favourite.
You mentioned it there, the panel. That TV show used to be on Irish television.
Yeah.
Was that your first time properly on television?
It was the first ever time I was on television. I was on the Blame Game in Northern Ireland.
Okay,
Wow.
Yeah, and Colin Murphy was on it.
Yeah.
And I was still working. I still had a job.
Yeah.
And Colin recommended me to the lads at the panel. And so 2 weeks later, because the panel used to get filmed on a Sunday, they said, will you come and do it? And I went, well, of course I will. I loved it. So I came over and I started doing that. And
were you flying back for work Monday morning?
Yeah. Mate, honestly, God, I kept my job for 6 years.
While doing comedy?
While doing comedy.
And did people in Liverpool know you were on national television over in Ireland the night before?
No. Like it was mental. And the job I had, the job I had, I was responsible for this drug that stopped people rejecting their organs after a transplantation.
Wow.
Nice.
So the big guy over here in Dublin was a fellow called Dave Higgins. He was the lead transplant surgeon over here, kidney transplant surgeon over here. But most of the people over here, livers and all that stuff, would go over to England. So it wasn't as if I had an excuse to work here. I'd just come and then I'd literally leave Dublin and I'd fly to the office in London on Monday morning, or I'd fly home in Manchester to Manchester.
You must have had a couple of times where you're dealing with somebody on a phone call and they're like, wait, are you your man that was on the telly last night telling jokes? In the middle of a serious meeting?
No, it was so separate. It was so separate. The worlds never really crossed over. It was odd. It was bonkers. I mean, I had like the maddest thing. So what used to happen? We used to live in Manchester. Our office was down, at one point in East London, and then over in Staines. And it was a small team of people, but it was a very specialised area, and we were very profitable, and they looked after us and all that stuff. And Brad started doing stand-up comedy, and I never thought it'd be a job, but every now and again something mad would happen. And I was in the office, and I got a phone call off Johnny Vegas. Whilst I'm in the office,
he's having a transplant.
This liver's not working. And I got this phone call. I've only just thought of this now that we're talking. I got this phone call to say, listen, I'm making a film in the Isle of Man with Johnny Depp and John Malkovich. And
Johnny Vegas.
This is Johnny Vegas.
John Vegas.
Yeah. And he was called Liberty in this film. And he said, I've told them I'll do a gig tomorrow night. He said, but I've got no material. I said, I don't want to do a whole gig. Can you come and do half an hour before? No, it wasn't tomorrow. It was that night. And I went, fucking Johnny, I've got a sales meeting this afternoon. And he said, well, can you just come to the Isle of Man? So I thought, no. So then I spoke to the girl who was me sexiest. I said, listen, if I fly can I get to the Isle of Man tonight instead of flying back to Manchester? And then in the morning I'll fly back to Manchester.
Yeah.
So she said, well yeah, no one would really know. You're not missing a day's work. Yeah. So I flew in me fucking businessman's suit, right, to go over to do this gig in a nightclub in the Isle of Man. I turn up and it's fucking mad. Like it's mad.
Yeah.
This nightclub's mad. It's full of people from the Isle of Man, full of crew, full of cast. You know, they're there, John Malkovich and all that stuff there, Sam Morton's there. For some fucking mad reason, Chris Evans was there as well.
He was everywhere back then.
I know. He was DJing after the gig and all this stuff. I did half an hour, which went well. Johnny did. Have you ever seen Johnny do stand-up?
No, I've just seen bits on telly.
Oh, no, the spits on telly and not Johnny.
I've heard some
mental. Johnny's act ended with somebody putting a Coke bottle up his ass. That was...
What was the punchline if that was the sound?
Give me ass. So all this is going on. This is the madness. I'm still in my fucking suit. And then the next morning I wake up and he went, flights are cancelled. I went, I see what you mean. And there's a thing that comes in the Isle of Man. I think they call it Le Misrels or something. And it's a fog that hangs on the Isle of Man. And when it comes, planes can't take off and can't leave.
How long?
So you just 3 days.
3 days.
3 days. So I had to phone me missus and go, I was doing this gig with Johnny and I'm not going to make it back. But I ran out of clothes because I was in me. So I
tell me you were in Johnny Vegas.
No, honestly. So what I did, I had to go to the Marks and Spencers and buy clothes, which meant I just looked like everybody else on the Isle of Man. It was the only place you could buy clothes.
Shop. Yeah.
But it's fucking mad. And this was before laptops and all that stuff. So I was literally stuck. I had to phone my boss and say, listen, I can't be
You're
in
not going to
today.
believe this.
You're not going to believe it, but Johnny's got a bottle up his ass.
I'm here with Johnny Vegas.
No, honest to God, mental. And you know, I've only just thought of that randomness when you just said it there, because I was running the two worlds side by side for so long.
Well, it is a great story. And the film, your life, is now a Hollywood film. Can you believe it?
Mate,
well, to be honest, after chatting to you for around 10 minutes, I see perfectly why this is now a Hollywood film.
That's the sequel.
Who's going to play Johnny Vegas?
Zach Galifianakis. Sorry, I have to ask. Have you seen Bradley Cooper on Joe Rogan talking about you?
Yeah,
he said, and this guy made a living from comedy. I was like, a living? He's doing fucking arenas. I was like, know. Bradley Cooper made it out like you were getting 100 quid.
Yeah,
like you're surviving.
Doing all right. Well, it's been really mad. It's so mad and so weird. Because it's also, I think it's because it is two worlds.
Yeah.
You know, like I've obviously done well here and I've done well in the UK and I do all right in Australia and New Zealand, so but I haven't in America, so they don't know who I am. You know, like if this film was made about Bill Burr or something, that'd be all part of it. And but they never sort of saw it that way. They saw, and the film's better for it, that it's the narrative of the film rather than saying he was lucky enough to go and be successful at it, because that's not the point of the film. The point of the film is the love story between the two characters. Yeah,
I saw the film, it's great. But when it's like a question people ask each other, in a film of your life, who would play you? How did you come up with Will Arnett?
Well, I
know he's not playing you as such. He's got a new character name.
Yeah, so to put it into context, what happened was I've got a mate called Chris Trickier, and he's a film producer, and he asked me 10 years ago, how did you get into comedy? And I told him the story that I split with my wife, ended up going to a comedy club and all that stuff, and I didn't want to get it, knew nothing about it, and I told him the whole story, the potted story that people have heard a few times before, and he went, that'd be a good film. And I said, I know, I'm trying to write it, but I can't write it because it's too close to me. So he said, let's see if someone else can come on board. And he was making something with Will Arnett. And we both got invited to Amsterdam. So to this hotel opening in Amsterdam. So we took Will Arnett.
Wait, you got
Johnny Vegas.
Hang on, you got invited to a hotel opening in Amsterdam, John.
I tell you.
Blink twice.
I
If there's more to the story.
You think the bottle was a big story. So we're at this. We're on a
opening,
barge.
yeah.
No, we're on this barge in Amsterdam, and he said, "Tell Will the story." So I told him, and Will goes, in his voice, like, "Can me and my writing partner Mark have a go at writing it?" So they started writing it, and it was dead funny. So I said, because you do, wouldn't you? You'd say, yeah, obviously, but I want to write it with you.
Yeah.
So then they'd write the script, and they'd send it to me, and I'd write notes and send part of the script back, and then I'd get another version that had none of my stuff in it. Oh my God, he must have seen the emails, and then I'd chip in again on the next version, and it'd come back with none of my stuff in, and then I was fucking 2 years this went on for. I mean, Mrs. said to me, they're not that interested in your bit. And so I had a chat with them, and I because part of what I was chipping and was saying, like, hey, they wouldn't say that, and they wouldn't say that, and they're going, but it's not you.
Yeah.
And because what we made the decision very early on that having somebody trying to do my accent and placing it in Manchester, it makes it too small in some ways. The best way to get this to a wider audience is place it in America, and then if you can place it in New York, where everyone knows there's a massive comedy scene, it kind of makes sense. So that was a decision early on. So that's when they said, well, we'll make it about this guy Alex Novak, and Tess will be his wife, who's played by Laura Dern. So I stepped away from it. They carried on working on it. And then a few years ago, Will's on a flight with Bradley Cooper. And Bradley Cooper says, what are you working on? Bradley was finishing off Maestro, and Will says, well, I'm finishing this off. He said, can I read it? He read it and went, geez, can I direct it?
Wow.
So Bradley Cooper directs it. He helped writing it as well. He contributed to the writing.
His character is so funny.
I know, but his character is the best friend of my character, which means all of my fat, baldy mates are now saying, I'm Bradley Cooper. Yeah, Bradley Cooper's mate.
It's all playing one of the boys.
It's amazing, like, to go from, like, where you went to when you meet Bradley Cooper, like, are you still like, fuck, that's Bradley Cooper? Like, is there that thing of, like, it's amazing to meet these Hollywood lads, like to us it's like, it would seem crazy that we'd ever meet Bradley Cooper, and then you're sitting at home and it's like, yeah, he's directing a film about my life.
You know what? Would you know what it's like when you're in this business? Sometimes you end up talking to people you can't believe you're talking to.
Yeah.
And you end up. Oh, by the way, Des says hello. Des Bishop.
Des Bishop,
yeah. Des says because I do a podcast now with Des, the Bishop Exchange, and which I love doing. So he said to pass that on.
Man,
but it's one of those things. In fact, Des was the first famous person I knew, and like so. Because I've been doing comedy on the circuit, Des was the first person. We were at the Kilkenny
Cat Laughs,
and someone stopped him for a picture, and that was the first time I was ever in the company of someone who went, oh my God, that's what happens.
Yeah.
So it's been funny when you sort of got mates who've been through it, and then there's one level, and then there's another level, then there's another level, and then there's this level.
Yeah.
And as soon as Bradley Cooper got on board, it was at this level. It was mental. But it has been odd, because my first interactions with Bradley Cooper were Zoom calls. Yeah. You know what I mean? When they were doing the script. And then I went over. I used to love this. So the script was coming over, and Bradley was sending me scripts, and I was saying, look, and I went, I said, the stand-up's not strong. The stand-up's not strong enough. Yeah. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not very good. We're using musical kinds, so you write it down. But I'm not very good at writing jokes, to be honest with you. If I write my stand-up down or look at it, it never looks right.
Yeah.
But when I'm reading it in the script, I'm looking at it with those same eyes, and I'm thinking, that just doesn't look funny. So I sent Bradley this email going, look, I just don't think the stand-up's strong enough.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you've got to remember this guy is new to comedy. I said, yeah, but he's got to make someone laugh. You know what I mean? Why would he go back and do it again? And he said, yeah, but it's the progression of the character. And but he's still got to be funny. And and I said, then Will needs to start doing stand-up comedy. So he said, yeah, he's going to start doing stand-up. He's going to start going to the Comedy Cellar, which is where the film's based. in a couple of weeks. And I was on tour. So he said, why don't you, he said, if you're that bothered, come over. I said, I am that bothered, I'll come over. So I had 4 days in the tour, and it was mad. I did a venue in Southampton called the Mayflower, big venue, theatre on a Sunday night, and I was flying out on the Monday morning, and the gig went great, standing ovation, I'm king of the hill, 2,500 people, get on a plane, fly to New York. And because they were getting, Bradley said, look, I don't know how much time we'll get. I said, don't worry about it, I'll get some gigs in while I'm there. So I phoned Liz up at the Comedy Cellar, who's in the film, who plays herself in the film. And I said, look, can I do some gigs? I said, I'm going to get there on the Monday night, but I'll be there for a couple of days. So I might as well do some spots on the Tuesday and the Wednesday before I fly back. And then at least I haven't wasted my trip. So I arrive on the Monday. Will had said to me, we'll meet you in the cafe, that's in the film, the Olive Tree Cafe, for a coffee at about 9 o'clock at night. So I get there, and when I get there, Liz says to me, and he said, we can talk about it, you can see a set and all that stuff. So I'll get there, and then Liz says to me, Will's going to go on round the corner on the 8 o'clock show now, we've moved it. So I thought, I'll go round the corner to one of the other rooms. So I go into the room, and as I'm walking downstairs, Michael, the comp of the gig, comes bursting out and goes, hey, fuck, are you here? He said, are you free? I said, yeah, why? He said, because, I don't know whoever, he said, they've not turned up. He said, and we've got this Bradley Cooper and Will Arnett apparently coming. I need someone to come on and just do 15 minutes now. And I'm like, I've just done the Mayflower in Southampton. I'll fucking rip this. So I said, so I'm literally stood there when he's asking me, and I start walking on, I can hear the kerfuffle. At this point, I hadn't met Bradley in the flesh. I hadn't spoke to Will for a few years, to be honest with you. So I'm walking onto stage. I go on stage, and I'd done some Trump jokes or something or whatever it was, and they fucking bombed. Oh. I was on stage, and for the first 4 or 5 minutes, I was dying on my arse in front of the fella who I'd told, you don't know what a joke is. And then I had to fucking pull the gig round. You know when you're pulling it round by your bollocks, going, pull the gig round, come out, and it was all right. The gig was all right.
You turned around.
And then Will went on. And what was happening, he was doing it, he was being introduced on as his character, Alex Novak, and then he was doing lines that were in the script, which worked. And they were funny. And I'm thinking the things that I thought weren't funny are funny when he says them in a club. Yeah. So then what happened the next night, I thought, fuck, wasting my time. I made myself look like a bit of a dickhead. And then the next night, I'd already had these gigs set up. So I was waiting to go on in the small room in the Comedy Cellar, because there's 4 rooms in this club. There's a fuss by the door, and then they're there again. Will's there again, Bradley's there again, Laura Dern's there again, Andrea Day's there, and they're all stood by the door. Well, Will goes on, gets introduced as Alex Novak, and does it really well again. So he goes off, and then he goes back upstairs to the cafe. So I go upstairs and say, listen, I know I came over to talk to you about stand-up. I said, but I think you've got it. I've got nothing to offer. And anyway, I've got to go and do my gig. So I walk downstairs. I go on stage. They all come down. And they stood in the doorway. And this is a tiny room.
So
like
small.
the International used to be. It's almost that level of room. And I walked on stage and I ripped it. Took the roof off. Everything I said hit. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Pint of Bradley Cooper.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking. Put me in your film. But it was so, because stand-up is so immediate. People laugh or they don't laugh.
Yeah.
And the judgment's so immediate. And I think that's why it's such a good vehicle for something like this, because it allows the character, Alex, on stage to get some positive feedback, but also negative feedback when it doesn't work.
Yeah. And is stand-up always the most important one to you? Like you said, you like, I remember your chat show, like I've seen that, and like you used to League of Their Own, the panel shows, you host telly, you do your John Bishop's Ireland, all that kind of stuff. Like, is stand-up the most important to you?
It is, but it was also, I think, if I was being honest with myself, because I never, when I first went onto that comedy club on that night, I always carried that same attitude, as that I wasn't expecting anything from it.
Yeah.
And so I haven't been angsty about it. I haven't been, it's just been something that I've done. And so, and I basically, you know, that thing, I live my life, hope something funny happens, hope I remember it and tell people about it. And so I think if I'm being brutally honest, I haven't give that craft the respect it always deserved until a couple of years ago, where I thought, right, just really step back and throw yourself in the deep end. Because when you become, for want of a better word, famous, you can cheat a little bit. And, you know, you can't cheat forever. You know what I mean? You can't, because what happens, people kind of go, that felt a little bit like last time. That felt like he was ringing it in. I've never been ringing it in when I'm on stage. I love being on stage. But I had to kick myself up the arse and go, what made you know how lucky you are to be doing this?
I was listening to bits about your life story. Like, the place where you grew up in Liverpool, was it full of characters? Was it full of funny people who were good storytellers?
Well, it's interesting because I didn't grow up in Liverpool.
Or sorry,
So what happened? I was born in Liverpool, and we moved out to a place called Winsford. But it was full of people from our road moved there. We shared the removal van with the Roberts, who ended up living on our road, and they were all people from Liverpool. And it's like Irish Americans. The only sense of identity that they had was their accents. So I grew up surrounded by people trying to out-scouse each other. so that's why my accent's so strong. Everybody from our estate sounds like me. But we're half an hour away from Liverpool, and then we moved closer to Liverpool when I moved to Runcorn when I was 11. But yeah, there was characters, but my dad's dry, my dad's funny. And to be honest, that's why I love Ireland, because the form of type of comedy that I like is when people tell you the story and you're feeling like you're getting to know them. You don't, you know, if people go, I love one-liners, you can fucking email them. You know what I mean? You wanna walk out and go, I know something about him, and by doing that, I know something about me.
Yeah. Do you think there's another few films in your life? Because like when we're like obviously researching and we're very familiar with your work, like one of the things that took me by surprise was I had read about it years ago, but I forgot. In 1992, did you cycled to Sydney?
No, I cycled from Sydney.
From Sydney, yeah.
So yeah,
back to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like this is pre comedy. This is pre everything.
How long did that take?
10 months.
And what made you want to do it?
I didn't want to get married. Fucking true story. I didn't want to get married. I'd met this girl. She wanted. I was getting all that. You're going to put a ring on it, and you know what happens? They like ambush you, don't they? So one of their mates gets engaged. One of their mates gets engaged, and the other one sort of fucking gets pregnant, and all of a sudden she's the only one left. And every time you walk into a room, people go, "Well, So
I bought a helmet.
So I said. And you know what? I said, look, I'm not ready. I was 25. I'd already started with the pharmaceutical industry, but I left a good job then. And I just said, look, I just think there's more in me.
Yeah.
I want to do something. I've done a lot of traveling in America. So I said, I'm going to take a bicycle to Australia and I'm going to ride it back. And when I said that, I didn't have a bike. I got the bike 2 weeks before I went. I knew fuck all about cycling.
Would you not buy a bike in Australia?
No, because what happened? Well, I wanted to practice at least before I got there. So, and there was a bike shop in Liverpool called Quinn's. So they said to me, so I went to see them and said, do you want to sponsor me? And they said, what we'll do is we'll lend you the bike and you can buy it off as second hand when you come back. And when I brought it back 10 months later, they went, fucking, we're not selling that, are we? You might as well have it. So I've still got it. I've still got the bike. Wow. And and it was fucking mental.
Wow.
It was mental. And then I came all the way back and married the girl.
You could have just saved yourself a hell of a lot of hassle.
You spend 10 months on a bike, you'll marry anyone.
Hey, so, some stag.
But this is the thing. So I married her.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I married her. Then we have kids. You know, we have the 3 kids close together because I'm a good shot. And then
semi-pro.
Yeah. And then it all dissolves, and that's where this film comes from.
And for people out there who are like, what happened and what's the key to a good relationship?
When you say what happened?
Well, you said like you separated for a while.
Yeah.
haven't been. Everyone was going great, and you were so in love. What changed?
Yeah, but we were in love. We were young. I got married. I went on that bike trip when I was 25. Got married when I was 26. Had the first kids when I was 27. I had 3 kids by the time I was 31. And I had this job, and I was serious, and I was into the job, and I was fucking exactly what many people are, because I'd come from it wasn't Angela's ashes, but because I'd come from a poor background, relatively speaking, working class background, not a lot of money, and all of a sudden I had this good job.
Yeah.
I was banging. I'd become that fella who gets home from work on his mobile phone and pats the kid, pecks the wife on the cheek, and goes upstairs on the phone. That's what I've become.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing the right thing, and I thought I was doing what a man should do, be a provider. But I'd forgot that what a man has to do is also be a member of the family.
Yes.
And I was doing all of that stuff. And then just like in the film, when people watch the film is about Alex and Tess, and they split up. But there's no big row.
Yeah.
There's no argument. There's no affair. And that's what happens with relationships sometimes. People talk about breakup. Well, if you break something, you can see the pieces. Sometimes it doesn't break, it just dissolves.
Yeah.
It's just not there. And you can't put it back together because you don't know what happened. And that's what happened with us. We just all of a sudden had lost each other. And, my lads were 5, 3 and 1. And we'd split up and we're living in 2 houses.
Yeah.
Which is fucking heartbreaking. You can imagine it
Yeah,
now you're a
hell,
father. It's fucking the hardest thing in the world.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
So you're on stage doing stand-up about her.
No, so what
she walks
happened? So what happened? I ended up the Monday. One Monday. I used to have the kids every weekend because I couldn't guarantee when I could have them in the week because of my job. So I'd have them, pick them up Friday, drop them back Monday. So Monday I hated. And then I wanted to get out on a Monday, and I was in Manchester one Monday night. I saw the Frog and Bucket. Have you ever done the Frog and Bucket?
No, I've heard of it. Yeah.
So the Frog and Bucket, great comedy club. But I had no interest in comedy. I've been to 2 comedy clubs in my whole life by then. I was a month away from being 34. No interest in stand-up comedy. But I thought, I'll go in, someone will make me laugh. There'll be 100 odd people in there. I can hide at the back. And the guy on the door said it's £4 to come in, like it does in the films, £4 to come in, unless you put your name down. I said, put your name down for what? He said, it's an open mic night. I didn't even know what that meant. I mean, I've said this story before, but it's the only story I've got because it's the true story. I said, I didn't know what it meant. So he said, well, that means that if you put your name down and your name gets called out, you've got to go on stage and say some jokes, but it also means you don't have to pay £4. And because I was getting divorced, I thought, well, that's £4 she's not getting. So I put my name down, and I honestly thought I'd never get called out because I'd never seen a comedy club with less than a few hundred people in. I walked in, there was 7 people in there. It was one of them nights, 7. And it was mental because we were just talking. The other day, we did all this press day with Will Arnett and Bradley Cooper and all that, and we were just talking about it, and it only dawned on me while we were talking about this. Will was saying, tell them about the first guy, because I got called out second, and the guy in front of me it was like, I was stood at the bar with this pint of lager, and this fella come on stage, this Geordie, just doing chicken impressions. This honest to God, he was just like, well, like, have you ever seen a chicken drive a van? And I'm stood at the bar thinking, fuck me, I was depressed when I came in. This is going to tip me over the edge. And then I got called out second, and I went up. And it was only Will said to me, if he'd have been funny, would you have gone up? And I thought, you know what, maybe not.
Yeah.
All my life, I haven't even thought about what would have happened if he'd have been really good. But because I thought, I've got to be at least better than a chicken.
This lad, yeah.
At least I can be funnier than poultry. So I went up. And then it just all sort of unfolded.
And just started talking about life or telling jokes?
No, the first joke I ever said, because I'd said it to me mate that day, at that time, the French farmers, like they always are, were moaning. And they were complaining about something. So they were blocking the borders. So the big thing on the English news at the time was there's going to be shortages in the supermarkets because the French farmers are blocking the borders and the lorry drivers can't get home. That was the big news. So I went on stage, and the first thing I said, because I'd said it to my mate, and he laughed. I said, "Oh, have you seen those French lorry drivers blocking the borders so no one can get into France? Wouldn't it have been handy if they'd done that in 1939?
Yeah.
I think that's the decent.
Did the other 6 people just say, yeah, brilliant?
Well, that's what I mean. The one just went, pop, 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 but then everybody else was like, and I said there, and then I just tried. I didn't have nothing else to say, so I just went, I think I'm getting a divorce. And then I started talking about getting divorced. And you know when the light comes on, for people who don't know, in comedy clubs, there's always a red light to indicate when your time's up. And the light started flashing at 5 minutes, but no one had told me that I was meant to get off. So I remember going, "Oh, your light's broke," and I just carried on. and because there was no one there, they just let me talk. I did about 25 minutes. I'm not kidding you. And it was, and the comedian who introduced me on stage was this lad Mick Ferry, and we had the screening in Liverpool on Saturday, and Mick came, and Dave Perkins, who ran the comedy club, he came to the screen on Saturday. Because when I came off stage, they were both there, and he went, "Where have you been doing your stand-up comedy?" I said, I've never done it." They said, "You've never done it?" I said, "No." They said, that was some of that was good, you know.
Yeah.
Said the bit where you spoke about your divorce and you started crying.
Might need a bit of work with that.
You know what I mean? Maybe not do that next time, but to come back with jokes. And in all honesty, the only reason I kept going back wasn't the jokes. It was to give me something to do on a Monday when I dropped the kids off.
Pick me up.
So,
Well, I tell you.
Did you ever find out what happened to the chicken man?
never found him, never seen him again.
If he's watching now, you want to say something?
I gotta say, no. I really, honest to God, I never saw him again. But it was so funny because I do remember his whole act more than I remember what I said.
Well, I hope the Chicken Man goes and sees the film. It's in cinemas on January 30th. John, thanks a million for chatting to us. We could chat to you all night. We had a load of stuff we didn't even get through.
Oh, listen, fucking, I've got nowhere to go. How long is your podcast?
Yeah. 6 hours. It'll be a special, yeah.
Man, it's just, your story's an inspiration.
Yeah.
And we often get people, like young people, they write in, they say they want to go and chance something in the arts or entertainment. What would you say to people?
The only limitation, obviously, let's be honest, the best thing about stand-up is it's accessible. If you want to be an actor, it's hard. Someone's got to write it, someone's got to direct, someone's got to put it on. Same with, if you want to be a singer, you can busk, you can find access. But the thing is to find your way in. And when I say find your way in, not a way in that's professional, not a way in where there's a job in it. Don't do it because you think one day you're going to do the 3 Arena.
Yeah.
Do it because you want to do it, and then do it. Don't, like, for comedians, I always say, young comedians, don't sit at home writing the perfect joke. That's, you're never going to find it. Yeah. Just get on stage, and then it'll grow from you. And anybody who wants to do the arts, anybody who wants to change their life, we're only here once. And I saw a quote the other day, and I thought it was a great quote. It's, spend your life, and if it means that you fail at the thing that you want to do, not the thing that you felt you had to do. Just give it a go. And honestly, I didn't leave my job to do this with any. Obviously, I had financial commitments. By the time me and Melanie got back together, I had a mortgage, I had kids, and I had a really good job. And no one could believe it when I handed in my notice. No one. But I just knew that if I didn't give it a go, I was coming up to 40 years of age, I'd have blamed them. I'd have been one of those fellas saying, well, I did a bit of comedy, I could have given it a go, but I had kids and I had a mortgage, and that's a coward's way of living.
Yeah.
Grab it by the balls and give it a go.
And go for it. Thanks, John.
Grab it by the balls. Buck. Go see the film. Film's fucking great.
But listen, I've got to tell you, one thing I will say about this film, and listen, I'm not in it, so I'm not really selling it. I've got skin in the game, obviously, but it's someone else's film. It's good.
Yeah,
It's
really
a
good.
very, very good film.
Hey, I'm Johnny B.
I'm Johnny Smacks.
And we are the two Johnnies.
Make sure you tune into our podcast every Monday on Spotify.
That's right, lads. And if you like this video, hit the subscribe button. You get a few more. Good luck.